I want to tell you that is the moment I walked into the devil's trap. The moment I slept, my spirit was whisked away. I felt like somebody had just snatched my spirit out of my body. And now my spirit was up there in the ceiling, and I could see my body. And there is a very heavy struggle, like a struggle of forces. Shalom, greetings, and welcome to part 2 of my testimony, Snatched from the Jaws of Hell. I'm Gladys Mutunga. I want to begin this testimony with the words of my spiritual mother, which she quoted after she read my book as she was forwarding it. I will read Job 14, verse 7. It says, "For there is hope for a tree, if it is cut down, that it will sprout again, and its tender shoots will not cease." I want to tell somebody watching this program that there is hope. I was a written off case, but then there is a God in heaven who can bring back into life what has been written off. We left our testimony last week at Mtwapa, when I had actually begun indulging in alcohol, and they brought an idea of Watamu having more tourists, and having been able to get them during the day. Remember, in Mtwapa, we could only get them at night. And so this gave me an idea of going to Watamu, and I left. It's not far from Mtwapa. When I arrived there as a new person, Watamu, as its name sounds, is actually a pleasant place. It is a sweet place because the people there were so sweet. They were wonderful. I met a group of girls who was coming from my home place, and the connection was almost instant. And they embraced me, and they now began teaching me how life goes on in that place. So the first thing they began with was to tell me to change my dressing, because I was still carrying myself as a church girl, dressing in those dresses, dressing modestly kind of. But they told me, no, if you want to attract a foreigner, you have to dress crazily. So we went and looked for those shorts, those revealing tops, made crazy hairstyles, anything that would make you stand out and brand yourself according to what you want to attract. That was the essence, the whole essence of the branding. Now there was remaining one kind of initiation, and that they told me if I had not been fortified, it will be easy for me to be bewitched by anybody, and that I will not be able to get Mzungu. They gave me reports of girls who had gone to these witch doctors, and the witch doctors had fortified them and given them these charms that will attract Wazungus. And they would even tell me some of them were abroad. And remember, now that is my motivation. So I left for Malindi. And remember, you are given the description of where you are going. And actually, when you are going to these places, somehow you don't get lost. I stepped into the house of that witch doctor. And one of the amazing and scary things is how my body felt when I arrived there. There was this scary presence. Actually, you could actually feel it. The presence of darkness was so heavy. And according to me, I am saying, now that power is what is going to give me what I am looking for. So I felt I was in the right place. When I went there, there was nobody. And I had not even been attended. I cannot remember where the witch doctor was. But there was a place of reception. And for some reason, I sat there. I had not even sat for a long before this heavy sleep fell on me. And then I lied on a bench that was there. Who sleeps in a witch doctor's house? As I was waiting, a heavy sleep came upon me. I want to tell you that is the moment I walked into the devil's trap. The moment I slept, my spirit was whisked away. I felt like somebody had just snatched my spirit out of my body. And now my spirit was up there in the ceiling, and I could see my body. And there is a very heavy struggle, like a struggle of forces, very strong forces that I cannot even tell. Remember, at that point, the nose is being blocked. I am not even able to breathe, so I am gasping for my breath. My body is being torn apart. I feel like I'm being thrown up and down. It's like I'm being hit on the wall. I am being lifted like I had fallen into the wrath of Satan. I felt like a deer that has entered into a trap of lions, and it is not one lion. It is many lions. I have never had such an encounter, such a warfare up to today. And so I am being torn apart. I feel like I can see, but you cannot see anything. What I can see is my body lying there on the bench. My spirit is up there. I am fighting this battle. Every part of my body feels like it is being torn away. And now when I remembered later, now when I got saved, I said I had fallen into the enemy's trap. Remember, there was words which were casting me away, which had casted me away to go and die in a far place. And now the kingdom of Satan, because it works in harmony, this witch doctor must have known that the enemy had one agenda, and that was to finish me. I was not to go back again, according to the words which were uttered to me. And now remember, I have taken myself into this trap now. I have taken myself into the territory of the enemy. And when I think of it, I normally cry. It was an intense warfare. It was the wrath of the devil. And so I have fought, I have tried calling, and there is no voice which is coming. And my body was losing strength. And so I remember just surrendering. I just called with a faint voice, Jesus. I just remembered to call that name. Remember, I'm not even born again. As I let go, I believe Jesus intervened for me. It feels teary. Sometimes when I go into the presence of God, I cannot afford but to shed tears. People think, someone may think, Gladys, do you have any problem? Like I had a lady, when she sees me in the presence of God worshiping, she would ask me, can I help you? Do you have a problem? I do not have any problem. I am just humbled. It is scary to know that I would have died, buried maybe in the sea there, and because it was not the timing of God, I would be a wandering spirit. That is normally what they call maginis here. And the maginis are wandering spirits of people who actually the demons inhabit. Because remember, demons do not have bodily forms. So they use the bodily forms of such kind of people. And that is how I would have gotten lost completely. And I would never have been found. My parents would never have found me. My son would never have known his mother, brethren. And so, after calling Jesus with that faint voice, I was released. And when I was released, I woke up. When I woke up, I was in shock. I was trembling. I was wondering what just happened because of the intensity of the battle. And remember now, I'm waking up. The body is so exhausted. I am so tired. I am exhausted and the body is paining. Shockingly so that you may know when you are in darkness, really you cannot help yourself. Shockingly, I never changed my mind and maybe said this is not what I want. I went ahead with the mission that had taken me there. And at that particular moment, the witch doctor now calls me to attend me, which makes me confirm that he really knew what was happening and he had that one mission. And so I entered into it's normally dark in those places. Remember, you are told to remove your shoes. Remember, that is you are submitting yourself to that authority when you are told that. And so I remember telling him I want a mzungu, and now to the fortification process whereby they cut you with razors and they apply those charms. Shockingly, those cuts, when I was getting deliverance, was one of my areas of concern. And somehow years later, I looked at the marks and I couldn't even see any of them. The deliverance process was long because of these continuous doors I was opening into my spirit. As I continue with my series, you will notice many times where I had exposed myself to such. And this leads to demon possession, and it is not easy for them to get out of the spirit once they have found an abode there. But I am here to tell you that that tree was rejuvenated, and so you will be set free. And so he attends to me, and then he gives me another one to bathe with, and he tells me, whoever will see you first will be attracted to you, will fall in love with you. And so I went back. Remember, I am staying in a hotel in that place in Watamu. I went and took a bath, and I bathed with the charm that you are given. And here is a twist. When I stepped out, the first person who saw me was the owner of the hotel. And now, not a Mzungu really, but now he has been attracted to me. And remember, at this time, I still need sustenance. So somehow I gave in. I also know what was working in him. And he got clingy. This kind of an attraction, I really don't know whether it is genuine or where to place it. You see a man stuck to you and you know what has made him stick to you. But here was the silver lining. At least I had a place now to stay without paying. I would eat. I would get monies, but now the attachment was becoming so much that he was even denying me to go out, to go to drink, to hang out with the other girls. And now I felt, no, this is not what I wanted. Even though he's a survival kit, but then my focus was a white man. I believed that is how I will prosper. And so I lied to him one day. He gave me money that I want to go and see a relative in Mombasa. But I knew I was not coming because somebody had mentioned that Ukunda, the white men were there. And so I purposed to go there. And I left for Ukunda. I had been given a direction. I went straight to a club that was called Shakatak. It was at night by that time. And to my surprise, I had not even sat there for 5 minutes. A Germany man approaches me. And he loves me. This was a shock to me. And so, according to me, I felt, now this is the place. Ukunda is a place for me. Here in Kenya, we would say, ardhi imenikubali. The land has accepted me. And so I made up my mind to settle in Ukunda. The ladies there now are telling me now, it's genuine. If this man is the one who has come to you, it is genuine. So you get a hold of him. And so I began life in Ukunda on a right footing. I can put it that way. Because at least now I have someone, at least I have a base. But then Ukunda is another place of its own, is another world of its own. Because actually there, now I found what I was looking for. 24/7, people were just up and about, jumping from club to club. It was about drinking. It was about, I was introduced to smoking marijuana. I was introduced to, used to survive with. It was also as friendly as Watamu. I made friends there. Before I knew it, I had been introduced into smoking marijuana. Remember, because we would drink at night, so during the day you will need something that will make you avoid the reality of what is happening to your life. Remember, Some of these people you see drinking, our girls out there, our young boys, some it's not because of enjoyment. Others are living in denial, avoiding a certain reality of life which hits hard. And now in my case, remember, I had left my parents. It was now 1 year. They didn't know where I was. Remember now my son had gone even to 4 years. He had not seen me. I had not even taken the initiative of writing a letter telling them where I was. And so when I look at myself and what I have become, remember this is a person that teachers would prophesy to, would say, Gladys, you have a bright future, because I was a bright student, a top 3 student, if not a top 5 actually. And when now it comes to your senses, you don't want now to think about that. And so you'd find that where we are staying, we have this company of these young men. They would bring to us the marijuanas, and then we would smoke freely. And then in the evening now, you will drink, you pretend to be dancing, you pretend to be happy, but in the real sense, you know you are being depressed. Depression took its course, and it led me into more drugs, which would lead to blackout occurrences. Remember, when you have a blackout as a human being, the spirit is not supposed to be void. It is also another avenue where you are opening the demons to indwell you. And so next week I will continue from there, how these led, how these enjoyment per se led to, because you are not satisfied with one thing, you want another and you want another, and it ushered me into more depths, into more darkness. Actually, it's a sad story. It's a sad story. I can only retell it. I can only relive it because I want to help somebody. I know our young people, I know you will share to somebody who will be helped by this. Let them follow me through. I will take them through the journey I took. People were telling me, Gladys, you cannot get saved for 2 weeks. Right now, I'm headed to 26 years and serving the Lord because He took me through the deliverance process. Please remember to subscribe. Feel very free to share, because I know this testimony will help somebody and remind them that there is a hope. Whatever force that is fighting them, there is a higher force. The power of God is above what they are going through. God bless you.